Hi there, it's Mrs. Drake with the clarinet. We are going to be doing Book 2, Lesson 5. Book 2, Lesson 5. I hope you've already warmed up on your scales. I hope you've warmed up on those finger tester exercises. Let's go ahead and take a look at Song 1. Song 1, grasshopper, grasshopper. Kind of an easy one, kind of a nice little warm-up of itself. Okay, Song 1, everybody find a C? Okay, Song 1, everybody. Ready, go. Okay, Song 2, Song 2. Okay, notice the B-flat key signature. The B-flat key signature, and there are some B-flats later in the song, like measure 5. So measure 5 has a high C, and then it goes into B-flat. Okay, I want to remind you something that we did on lesson 4, but it's called right hand down, and I abbreviate it in my book with RHD. And let me show you what I mean. So notice how, starting over here, I put this arch, not including the F's, but in this section, I put a brace and I put RHD. I also drew a flat sign to remind myself that it's B flat. But anyways, let me talk more about RHD, right hand down. When you're playing a high B flat and a high A, you can keep these right fingers down and open G. In lesson 4, remember, it was open G. Okay, so open G. These are called the throat tones of the clarinet. Open G. A flat, which we haven't used very much, but it's that side key there, or B flat. So the throat tones of the clarinet are open G, A flat, A, and B flat. Those 4 notes are considered the throat tones of the clarinet. When you play a throat tone, you can leave your right hand fingers down, including your pinky. It actually improves the throat tones. The throat tones on a clarinet can sound a little bit hollow. They don't sometimes have as beautiful tone as some of the other notes. And if you leave your right hand fingers down, it actually improves the throat tones a little bit. Okay, and often, especially if you have to go fast, it can make the finger technique easier. And that's the thing on this song. Okay, so on song number 2, when you get to that section, starting on measure 5, when it goes into the B flat, leave your right fingers down. And so I'm going to start on measure 5. I'm going to start on measure 5 and go to the end. And you will watch that I don't move my right hand at all. My right hand just stays like this, except when I get to the very last 2 notes. Notice that the final 2 notes are F's. F's aren't throat tones. If you leave your right hand down for F's, it screws up the sound of F. Let me play you a regular F. Then I'm going to put my fingers on and you'll hear how it screws up the sound of F. Here's an F. Now I'm going to put down my right hand. Hear how it wrecks the sound of the F? So whenever you play a F, you have to lift up your right hand. Okay, realize that. F is not one of the throat tones. Okay, everybody, watch my hands. I'm going to play from measure 5 to the end. Don't look at your music. Look at my fingers. And you will see that I leave my right hand down for the B flats and the A's. But when I get to the final last notes, I pick up those fingers. Okay, so I'm starting on song 2, measure 5. Did you see that? How I left my right hand down that whole part until I got to the last 2 F's. Okay, so once we hit measure 5, remember to leave your right hand down until you get to the last 2 F's. Okay, song 2 starts with F. Everybody find an F. 1, 2, song 2, go. All right, that might take some practice. Okay, we're going to take a look at song 3. Song 3 is kind of easy. Tick-a-tick-a-tee-tee. Song 3, everybody. Ready, go. take a look at song 4. Can you tell that it's similar to song 3, but it's up 4 steps? And it has a B flat key signature. Okay, so check the key signature, B flat key signature, and it has several high C's and even some high D's. So look through this song, it's much more challenging than song 3. So let's take it slower. Song 4, taking it slower. Tick-a-tick-a-tee-tee. Song 4 is pretty challenging. Ready, go. Okay, take a look at song 5. Hey, no high notes on song 5. Everybody warm up a G for song 5. Tick-a-tick-a-tee-tee. Everybody song 5? Ready, go. Okay, song 6, they call it Dreary Day, Dreary Day. Okay, scan through it. Do you see it has an F sharp key signature? F sharp key signature. Sometimes I use a highlighter. Again, you got to know your own mind. Do you need to write yourself reminders, or are you pretty good at remembering things? Also notice it has the DC al fine, which means to return to the beginning, DC al fine, and then the fine is at the end of the first line. So F sharp, reminder, F sharp is first finger, no thumb. So every F in this song has to be played as F sharp. Scan through it. Remember, the low B would be middle finger, like in measure 4, there's a low B. Measure 5. What's the first note of measure 5? I hope you said high B, which would be left green. So you got to know your own mind. Do you need to write yourself reminders on this? Song 6 is kind of challenging. Song 6 is kind of challenging. Ta, ta. Grasshopper tee tee. If this is too fast for you, maybe just listen to me play it. Maybe move your fingers along with me. But eventually, of course, I hope you can get it up where you can play it with me. Okay, song 6, including the DC al fine. Ta, ta, grasshopper tee tee. Everybody warm up beat. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and on the bottom of the page, variation on a theme by Beethoven. Beethoven, very famous German composer. He wrote that beautiful song called Ode to Joy. He also wrote the one that goes dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. That's part of his Symphony Number 5. Okay, so look over this one on the bottom, variation on a theme by Beethoven. What I'm noticing is all the repeats. And there's 2 sets of first ending, second endings. There's tons of slurs. And there's a B flat key signature. Okay, so I like to draw wings on my repeat signs. It makes them a little more noticeable. Maybe you might want to use a highlighter. That very first note would be considered a pickup note because there's supposed to be 4 beats in each measure, but you see how the first measure only has 1 beat, so it's considered a pickup note. Okay, so I would lead it off with 1, 2, 3, and then you hit that beat on F on beat 4, and then you continue to the song. Remember, B flat key signature, so if you feel like you might forget, feel free to put a flat sign over it. First times through the song, you might want to leave off the slurs. If you leave off the slurs, it does make it a little bit easier, but I do encourage you eventually to be able to get the slurs. Okay, so you play the first line, you play measure 8, then you leap back to that repeat sign, you play it again. That time you play the second ending, then you continue on. Then there's another first ending that bounces you back to measure 10, and then you play along, and then you do the second ending. Also notice there's a fermata at measure 13. There's a fermata, and that means play it longer. And so if you could put, when we get to measure 10, if you could put a quick eye on me, and I'll give you the signal on when to stop the fermata. Remember, the leader gets to decide how long the fermata gets to be held. Okay, so again, B flat key signature, challenging little song. Okay, everybody, I'm going to lead it off with 1, 2, 3. F, A. That's going to be our warm-up. Everybody warm up F, A. Okay, with all the repeats and everything. Okay, I'm going to lead it off with 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that's a beautiful melody. I like Beethoven's music. I want to remind you that the last song on each lesson has a recording of a band playing that song, and I already sent you the links to that. So if you feel like you have that song pretty well mastered, I encourage you to find that link to that recording and play along with that recording. Okay, that was lesson 5.